Hello, and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a podcast that is about how you can tap into the freedom that is inherent within you, regardless of what is going on in the external world. Freedom from fear, worry, and doubt. Freedom to follow your heart's desires. Freedom to live in joy, love, peace, and harmony. My name is Daniel Roqueo, and I'm your host. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Path to Freedom podcast. The topic of this episode is the sacred laws that govern our universe. And this is such an exciting topic. It's one of my favorite topics. In the last episode, we talked about the gift of independent thinking and how we each have the ability to think independently of any and all circumstances. And in this episode, we're going to go into the reason why it is of such importance that we learn to think in a certain way, that we learn to master our minds. Because in each and every moment, there are sacred laws at play, there are sacred laws at work, and they respond instantly to every thought and every feeling that we have and that we emit. And so, if we want these laws to work on our behalf, we need to learn to master our vibration. And we're going to get into what vibration is in a moment. But mastering our minds, taking back our minds, learning to think in a way that supports us is essential. But before we get into this episode, let's take a moment of just coming back to the nowness of this moment. So I invite you to close your eyes and take a breath. And just give yourself permission to feel how good it feels to be right here, right now. Give yourself permission to feel how your body is relaxing, how your mind is expanding, how you're opening up. And I invite you to think of something that you're particularly grateful for. It can be a friend, a family member, it can be something, a gift that you have, a talent that you have, a task that you have, something that you've accomplished, something that you're working on right now. It can be the fact that your body is amazing, all the things that your body does without you being conscious of it. It breathes, it digests the food, it heals, it regenerates. Whatever it is, just think of something that you're grateful for. And feel how it feels to be grateful. Feel how open and expanded you become when you feel grateful. And so in this moment, let's just contemplate how good it is to be where we are, who we are. And come back to a high and holy moment of communing with the presence of God, which is not a man in the sky, but it's pure love, pure potential, pure beauty, pure joy, intelligence, creativity. Just allow your mind to let go of past perceptions of what God is. It's not a deity, but God is the very essence and presence that sources and fuels and funds all of life, that sustains and maintains all of life. And just know that this presence, which is abundance, wholeness, wellness, just open up to this presence being everywhere. It's infinite, it's omnipresent, it's everywhere. It cannot ever diminish itself, cannot ever divide itself into parts, but it's always in full, which means that wherever God is, all the joy, all the abundance, all the prosperity, all the wholeness, all the wellness, all the peace, all the freedom, or the harmony is. It's never absent, but always present, which means that right where each of us are, all the love, all the joy, the peace, the freedom, the harmony, the abundance, the beauty, intelligence, creativity is in every space and place, in every fiber, in every muscle, in every function, in every organ, in every action. All of the qualities of God are in full. And this means that wherever we are and whenever we are, we have everything we need to take the next step, to allow for a new and greater and grander version of who we are to emerge. All our needs are met. All our needs are met. I know this, I feel this, I accept this, I give thanks for it, I allow it to be. And so open and expand in this moment, in this grateful moment. Let's just open and expand, allowing more of the qualities of God, more of the good that is everywhere to flow through us. Open, expand, embrace and allow all that which is to be. Embrace and allow excellence to come forth. Embrace and allow wholeness to come forth. Embrace and allow abundance to come forth. Embrace and allow prosperity, intelligence, creativity to come forth. Just embrace and allow it. Then we release and let go. We release and let go of all that which no longer serves us. And so in this moment, in this sweet moment of releasing, I call forth all that which no longer serves us to dissolve, disintegrate, transmute into the nothingness from which it came. And I'm calling forth more peace, more joy, more love, more abundance, more prosperity, more health, beauty, intelligence, creativity. I'm calling it forth. I know it, I feel it, I accept it, I give thanks for it, I allow it to be. Oh, how grateful I am to be in this moment, how grateful I am to be in this high and holy moment. And I bless everyone that is tuning in, fully knowing that something wonderful is happening in all of our lives. Healing is taking place, success is taking place, prosperity is taking place, abundance is taking place. Right now, right here. It's happening now in this moment. It's not something that will happen in a future moment, but it's happening right now in this moment. I know it, I feel it, I accept it, I give thanks for it. It is done. And as I release this word, I know that the sacred laws that this episode is all about, they are responding with a big yes. They are affirming everything that we're saying right now. This I know, this I feel, This I accept. I give thanks for it. I allow it to be. So it is, so be it. Amen. Let's open our eyes, come back to this moment. Let's get into this lesson. The sacred laws are everywhere. They're always in operation. In the cosmos, in the universe, there's nothing but divine order. A simple way of saying it is that everything has a cause and everything has an effect. There's a cause and effect working. That's not really the truth, but for the sake of simplicity, let's put it that way. But just contemplate the fact that in an acorn, the oak tree already exists. The acorn doesn't cause the oak tree to come forth and to come into manifestation, but the oak tree emerges out of the acorn. So it's not really a cause and effect, but for the sake of simplicity, let's call it that. And these laws, they are monitoring all of our thoughts and all of our feelings, our vibrations. They're constantly responding to our vibrations. And so whenever we think something, the sacred laws immediately go to work replicating, reflecting that thought. Now, most thoughts don't have much creative power because we don't follow up with intention and feeling, but all thoughts are equal in a sense. And so in our lives, nothing comes into our experience uninvited, but it comes because we've called it forth mostly unconsciously. But we've called it forth by where we turn our attention. And this is where we go back to the last lesson, where we talked about the importance of thinking, of taking back our mind and thinking independently. That we need to turn our attention towards what we want to experience rather than what we don't want. Complaining, bemoaning, regurgitating things that we don't want only serves to call that forth, that very experience. Now, experience is not the same as peoples and things and circumstances, but experience is our perception of that which happens. And so every perception, every experience that we have, and you and me, we can have we can experience, we can be in the same situation but have totally different experiences. And it's that experience that I'm talking about here, that our perception of that which happens are lawfully called forth. Now, these sacred laws, they are immutable and they are impersonal, which means that they're immutable. They always work. They never take a vacation, they never take a break, but they always work. And you cannot trick them, you cannot manipulate them. Well, you can manipulate them, but you can't force them to work in a way at one time and in another way at another time. Sort of like the law of gravity. If you fall or jump off a branch in a tree, you will hit the ground. There's no way around it. You know, they're always working. And these mental laws, they work the same. They're always working. And they are exact. So they're immutable and they are impersonal. And this is a good thing. This is a wonderful thing, because it means that they don't care at all about who we are, where we come from, what we've done in the past, what upbringing we have, what culture we have, what sexual orientation we have, what color we have. They care about nothing of that. The only thing they care about is the vibration we offer, the frequency our thoughts and our feelings. Which means that in each and every moment is a new starting point. Each and every moment is a moment of rebirth, where we, through the power of independent thinking, can make a new choice. We can go on off in a new direction. We can change the trajectory of our lives completely in an instant of a moment. Because the laws, they don't care about history. They don't care about how many times I've thought in a certain way, how long I've been stuck in a certain pattern. They don't care about that. But the moment I make a new choice, my vibration is elevated, and that is what the laws will respond to, that elevated vibration, that raised frequency. And as our vibration and frequency changes, our experiences will begin to change. So we're not bound at all by our past, other than when we think that we are. But in each and every new moment, we can make a new choice. We can allow for something new and great and grander to emerge into our lives. I want you to take a breath. Open and expand. And if what I'm saying right now does not square with previous experiences, I ask you not to believe what I'm saying, but just be open to it. So open and expand. Embrace and allow that what I'm saying may be true. Once again, you don't have to believe it, but just embrace and allow it. Hear it out. Release and let go of that little bit of doubt that you may be experiencing. Just be with it for a while. Perhaps you've seen The Secret, the movie The Secret, which deals with the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is a popular way of describing these sacred laws. Now, the law of attraction is not really accurate. It's a sort of linguistic convenience, because we're never so much attracting anything into our lives as we're radiating from within. It is our vibration that calls forth that which we experience, that which we are experiencing is not coming from without of us. It's not come from the outside, but it comes from within. Once again, the acorn, the oak tree, does not come from outside the acorn, but the oak tree emerges from within the acorn. The potential is already there. In the mind of God, everything is already in existence. It already exists. And once we can open up and expand enough that we may see that it exists, we call it forth. But it comes from within. So another way of another name for these sacred laws is the law of radiation. It radiates from inside of us. Everything that you've accomplished so far in your life has come from within you. It has not come from the world. True, it manifests in the world. You see it physically, or you hear it, or you feel it in the world, but it does not come from the world, but it comes from within you. There's a slight difference here, and I'm trying to make a point here, and that point is that everything that you desire, everything that you want for yourself, is already within you. Everything that you see is already within you. If it wasn't, you wouldn't see it. If it wasn't, you wouldn't see it. So whenever you see perhaps a successful person, a writer, an actor, an artist, whatever it may be, the fact that you can see that they are successful means that you have success within you. If you hadn't, you wouldn't be able to see it. So everything emerges from within you. Take a breath. Just open and expand. Come back to the nowness of this moment. Just feel. Just feel. Give yourself permission to feel the possibility that we're laying out here. Just give yourself permission to feel the freedom that is lurking in these truths, in this truth. Open, expand to it. Embrace and allow it. Just simply let it be. Just simply let it be. You don't have to do anything with it. Just let it be. Release and let go of that doubt, that voice that keeps telling you perhaps that what I'm saying is not true. Because what I'm saying is that there is no coincidence, there is no chance, there is no luck, there is no happenstance. But everything falls under the law of radiation. Everything falls under these sacred laws. The divine order is overarching and undergirding every single thing that happens, every experience. It's no chance or happenstance that the planets are in existence, that the leaves look like they do. It's no chance or happenstance that anything happens. When something occurs, it has been called forth according to these sacred laws. Just feel yourself. Just feel it. Feel it. Feel how good it feels. And the potential and the possibility that lies here. Because this means that we're not bound by anything other than our small and limited perception, our small and limited thinking, our small and limited perspective. There's nothing holding us back. We're made in the image and likeness of God, the same God that has created all of the cosmos, that keeps creating all of the cosmos, the same God that sustains and maintains all of life, that moves and drives and thrives, inspires, sources, fuels all of life. We have the same faculties that God has, made in the image and likeness of God. So just on a regular basis, like we talked about last week, make it a practice. Make it a practice to come back to the nowness of this moment. A moment of resetting, of releasing and letting go of the external world and stories you may have told yourself of who you are and what you're capable of. Because the sacred laws, God knows you as God knows itself. But the sacred laws, they know you as you believe yourself to be. So if you believe, if you have a thought, if you have a perception that you're not capable of achieving something or accomplishing something, that you're not good enough, you're not old enough, you're not rich enough, you're not happy enough, you're not wealthy enough. The sacred laws respond to that. They reflect that, and that becomes your experience. What we chronically think and feel will become our experience. It will manifest in some future moment. These are laws. These are laws. They don't work sometimes and sometimes not, but they're always working. They're always immutable. They're always impersonal, which is why it is so important that we take back our minds, which is why it is so important that we learn to think in a way that supports us. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to go into the creative process, the process by which we evoke these laws to work for us. This process consists of 4 steps. I'm going to go through them briefly. And then in the next following episodes, we will go deeper into each of these 4 steps. But the creative process, and this process that we're going to be talking about now, even though I'm describing them as 4 steps, which implies linearity, it is not a linear process, but it's a dynamic process. We constantly go back and forth between the steps, moving from one step to another and then back again, revisiting one of the steps and going back and forth. So it's a dynamic process. I want you to be aware of that. But these sacred laws, the first step to evoke these sacred laws is a vision or a desire. We want something. Now, let me just allow me to say this once, or just allow me to say this too. These sacred laws, they don't care about what you want or what you don't want. To them, that is no different. They only respond to what you're thinking about, what you're talking about. So they respond just as well to what you don't want as to what you do want. It is the feeling tone underneath your words that evoke them. So once again, it is so important that we learn to think about what we do want, because that is what we're calling forth. If we keep repeating all of the things that are not working in our lives, if we keep repeating all that which is not to our liking, that is the experience that we're calling into manifestation. Yes? So, the vision. What do we want? Most people, they're very good at describing what they don't want. They don't want this, they don't want that, they don't want this, they don't want that. They don't want police brutality, they don't want poverty, they don't want people to feel unsafe and insecure. But they're not as good as describing what they do want. But we need to be able to articulate and describe what we do want, what we do desire, because that is what the laws are picking up on. So we need to be able to describe that. So what do we want? And this is not materialism we're talking here. We're not talking about I want a new car and I want a bigger house and I want more money. All those things are good. All those things are good, but we need to want something more. We need to tap into what our hearts desire, what our souls desire, which is always for greater expression. It is always to be more, to do more, to allow for ourselves to come into greater and grander version of who we are. Our soul, our hearts, they want expansion, they want growth, they want unfolding, always for the greater good. They never want to take something away from someone else, because they know that we're all one. They know that there is only abundance. Remember, abundance is a quality of God. So abundance is the truth. Lack and scarcity only exists where we believe that it exists. Once we release and let go of that notion and perception, abundance comes forth. Abundance reveals itself. This the heart knows, this the soul knows. So the heart's desire, the soul's desire, is always for more good for everyone. So what do we want? Each of us has been given a set of qualities and gifts and talents that are unique and perfect to each of us. How can we cultivate how can we cultivate these talents? How can we cultivate these gifts? How can we bring more justice to the world? How can we call forth a better world? This is what the heart wants. It wants expansion for all. How can we be of service, of greater service to the world? But this is the beginning step, the vision, to be able to articulate and describe what our hearts desire, what we want. And we need to be able to articulate and describe it. The greater detail with which we can describe it, the easier it'll be for the sacred laws to work for us. And so we need to really think and feel, go within, turn within, and figure out what it is that we want. And we need to be, and with the more detail that we can describe it, the easier, the more graceful, and faster it will manifest. So that's stage 1, the vision. Stage 2 is intention, which means that not only do we need to know what we want, but we need to make the choice to go for it. We need to set an intention to begin to move in that direction. Because this is giving the sacred laws the go-ahead to begin to orchestrate and design and move people and places and things around to help us, to guide us, to lead us toward our vision. Vision is so important. But just having a vision without intention, that's merely a daydream or a fantasy. Oh, perhaps someday I'm going to be an artist. Or perhaps one day I'm going to travel the world. Until you make that choice, until you set that intention, not much is going to happen. But you need to intend to begin to move in the direction of your dream or vision or desire. So that's step 2. Step 3 is willingness. Because what we need to realize is that when we begin to move in the direction of our dreams, we need to learn a lot of stuff, and we need to release and let go a lot of stuff. growth is going to happen. The you and the me who manifest our dreams and desires will not be the same you and me that are sitting here right now listening to this. But growth will happen, expansion will happen. We will release and let go a bunch of things that is not in service and that is not in alignment with what we need to be as our dream manifests. So this is work. And it takes courage, it takes bravery to change. Some individuals want to change their lives, they want to change the world, but they're not willing to change themselves. And you cannot change anything in your life unless you first make that change within. It's an impossibility because everything is governed by the sacred laws. As long as you stay the same, everything will stay the same. The moment you begin to change, everything will begin to change. Your external world, our external world, is an exact replica of our internal world. It's a mirror, it's a reflection. So we need to change, and then the changes are going to show up in the external world. The moment you make the choice, the moment you set the intention, instantly you set something to work. Now, manifestation, it takes time. It takes time for the acorn to become an oak tree, even though the oak tree is already within the acorn. But it takes time. It takes a period of time. And so it is with manifesting goals and visions and dreams and desires. It takes time. But instantly, the moment you set the intention, something has been set in motion. The sacred laws go to work, moving that vision into fruition, into existence, into manifestation. So there's the vision, there's intention, there's willingness, and there's vibrational alignment. And this is the rest of the process is about vibrational alignment. Vibrational alignment means to come into an alignment with a match, to become a match with your vision. It means releasing and letting go of that which is not a match. And it means cultivating, discovering, working on areas that are a match, making them a full match. Where there is vibrational alignment, there's nothing that cannot manifest for any of us. When we become a vibrational match, which means that we think and we feel, we know inside of us, we know that what we want, what we desire, has already happened. It is now in active transition, sort of like you order something from the internet, and once you press that buy button and fill out your credit card information and all that, you know that it is on its way to you. You have purchased it, you have bought it, you've paid for it, so it's yours, and it's now coming your way. That level of knowing, that is vibrational alignment. In the mind of God, everything already exists. Nothing is new to the mind of God. There's nothing that doesn't exist. So whatever you desire, whatever you want, whatever vision you set for yourself, it is already done. It's given to you. Now it's up to you to do the inner work necessary that you may receive it. that you may welcome and allow it to come into manifestation, which means releasing, letting go of fears, worries, and doubts as to the manifestation. When you walk in the world fully knowing, without a shadow of a doubt, that what you're asking for has already been given, that is vibrational alignment. Which means that we're not to think or speak or act in any way that contradicts what we desire. This is vibrational alignment. Very easy, or very simple to talk about and speak about, of course. Not so easy in the real world. But the principles are easy, or simple. The principles are simple. And then vibrational alignment. I tend to break out one of them, the acting part, from vibrational alignment. Acting is a part of the vibrational alignment, but I tend to break it out because acting is so important. A vision without action is nothing but a fantasy. So you may have all the visions detailed and described and articulated, but unless you act in a way that supports those visions coming into manifestation, they will not. You need to move in the direction of your vision. You need to move in the direction of your dream. As long as you're standing still, the sacred laws have nothing to support. They want to support you. They want to guide you. They want to help you. But unless you move, they can't move. So inspired action, what I call inspired action, is moving in the direction of your dream, not by what you think you should do. This is not using your intellect, but this is learning to tap into that still small voice within you, within each of us, that still small voice that is forever speaking and whispering words of wisdom and guidance, that is connected to the mind of all, to the one mind. This still small voice knows exactly when you're to turn, when you're to move, when you're to go faster, when you're to slow down. It knows all those things. So we need to learn to become still enough, and this is where meditation comes in as a practice. Learning to be still. Learning to come back, to turn our attention away from the external world. Then we may hear that still small voice. And then we need to not only hear it, but we need to trust it enough to act on it, to follow its guidance, to heed its guidance, that we may do something every day. Every day. We need to do something, big or small, with some task that moves us in the direction of our vision every day. If we think, if we feel, if we act in this aligned way, there is nothing that cannot manifest. There's nothing that cannot manifest. So this, in short, is the creative process. These steps. And as I said, each of the following episodes will be dealing with one of these steps. So we're going to go deeper into what they mean. Take a breath. Just give yourself permission to open and expand, taking in all this information. It may be new, maybe you've heard it before, but take it in, open and expand. And embrace and allow any insight that you've had so far during this episode. This is turning within to hear that still small voice. Did you get an idea? Did you get inspiration to do something? Do you feel that you can make a new choice? That you can move in a different direction? Whatever that insight or revelation is, don't let it go. Grab onto it. Hold on to it. Do something with it. It's your soul, it's your heart guiding you. It's your future self. It's the greatest and grandest version of who you are, trying to move you in a direction, trying to move you along the path of freedom. So embrace and allow that. Now I want you to release and let go of fears, worries, and doubts that may be arising. That's only the ego seeking to keep you in place. It's nothing but the ego seeking to keep you from growing, to keep you from expanding. So release and let go of that. You may open your eyes. Let me just finish off by saying that along this creative path, we never, ever have to worry or even think about how our dreams or visions are to manifest. The how is not up to us at all. The sacred laws, they will deal with the how, and they will move mountains if they have to for your vision to come into manifestation, as long as we retain the vibrational alignment necessary. They will move mountains. Miracles are taking place every day, everywhere. So we don't ever need to bother ourselves with how. All we need is the what. Our dreams, our visions, our desires. And to move in vibrational alignment, doing something every day that takes us closer to that vision. And the sacred laws will deal with all the rest. All you need, you will have. Everything you need, you will get when you need it. Sometimes even before you need it, but at least when you need it. So we need to never worry about how we're going to reach our goals, how we're going to reach our visions. So this, I think, ends this episode. I invite you to close your eyes and just feel how good it is to be on this path of freedom. How grateful I am to be on this path of freedom. How grateful I am to be sharing this with you, that I get to hang out with you for a while, even if you're listening to me right now, or even if you're listening to me again. How good it feels. How good it feels. And I know that something wonderful is happening right now in all of our lives. Something has been sparked within us, and we're now calling it forth. And I know that at the back of us, we have all of the universe. There's nothing against us, but everything is for us. We're living in a progressive universe, a universe that continuously wants to expand. And that is the will of God. We're now obeying the will of God. The will of God is for all of life to come into forever greater and grander expression of itself. And so everything is for us. Everything is for us. All of our needs are met right now in this moment. I know it, I feel it, I accept it. I give thanks for it, and I allow it to be, fully knowing that in this moment, our lives have changed for the better. The trajectory of our lives have now shifted, that we may move along the path of freedom at an even greater speed. Possibilities are everywhere. They're everywhere. Everything supports us. Nothing is against us. I know it. I feel it. I accept it. I give thanks for it. I allow it to be. And with this, I leave you. I bless your day. I bless your way. You have been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roqueo. Please stay tuned for more episodes. And for even more inspiration and empowerment, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I also invite you to visit my website, danielroqueo.com. Blessings of love and light to you.